This is Linda Lavin. She plays the title role, and Alice, her full handle is Alice Hyatt. And it's a lot of people say, Linda, that there haven't been enough good roles for women, especially in motion pictures. It seems to me that television has turned a corner and giving a lot of very talented actresses a good opportunity.
I think that's true. The writing is for women in television. All the doors are much more open in television than they are in films for women. And I think it's probably because there's a bigger audience in television for shows about women than there is in films. I think people who go to films want to see pictures about men right now.
You think so?
I think so. Otherwise, I think there'd be pictures about women if there were a market for it.
One of our local writers, Jim Dussard, in the Courier Journal, said that Alice seems to be a combination of Rhoda and Carol, the receptionist in the Bob Newhart show. And I wonder whether you would agree with that characterization. I
tell you, I leave those perceptions of other people to those people. I think if that's what he saw, that's what he saw. I don't think of it that way, and I just try to do the work, you know? No, I just think of the character. That's interesting that he saw that, but I don't know.
I also think it's interesting that someone base a whole series on a single woman with her 12-year-old son.
Yes.
It's different, I think.
It is.
And I'm wondering whether, after all, the typical sitcoms with in the past, the dumb papa, you know, and the wife who's always in the kitchen, whether this isn't a very refreshing change for the better.
I think it is. I think it is. It's, you know, there are over 8 million single parents in this country.
Right.
And it's a phenomenon and something that's very difficult, and something that brings people into an experience, being on their own, having a kid, having to work, wanting their own dream. For the first time in her life, she is alone. She is not a wife, she is not a daughter, but she has a child and a responsibility.
It seems to me that so many of the series in the past where there was a single parent, there was no visible means of support. She always dressed as though she had come from Bergdorf.
That's right.
That she had no real furrows in her forehead, no real worries.
You're going to see how tough this is, and what adventures she gets into out of her need to make a life for herself and her son. It's not easy, and yet it's a comedy, and so we will show the humanity of it. You know,
but
it's a real person.
It has an extra dimension of your music now. You're singing this too.
Yeah.
The character is a singer.
Yes, she's a singer. She wants to be successful as a singer. And so they leave, you know, and go from New Jersey to the coast, but they never make it past Phoenix for this start.
I've seen you do a lot of specials, one-shots, variety, vaudeville, and I think you have a good funny bone.
Thanks.
I think that appeals to you.
Yes.
You like funny material.
I love
and
funny
you read lines
material.
well.
Thank you very much.
And you hoof a little bit, too.
Yeah, I do. I like to dance. So I'm not a trained dancer, but I like it.
You can dance and you can sing in your act.
I should have a job.
You're pretty well employed.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems to me that you live in a nice world. Your husband, Ron Liebman, has been the recipient of so many good reviews, mostly on the stage, and you too have come a great deal from the stage. Now, we look at it two ways, that you either have a great community of interest, being both actors and prominent actors, or you can't talk acting all the time.
That's right.
And that maybe sometimes, even if you're greatly in love with each other, sometimes you just want to talk about, I don't know, baseball or costumes or fashion or something like that.
Sure. Well, you must. You can't talk about or live one thing or one level or one aspect of your life. And you have friends and you entertain, and we talk sports and politics, and the more our experience widens, the more we have to talk about.
Was there an interesting story on your courtship?
We met doing a play.
You sound like Rhoda Barrett.
Yes. Well, no, you don't.
Well, tell me, I'm all ears.
There was a play written in 1968 called Cop Out by a great playwright named John Guare, and he wrote the play with Ron in mind and with me in mind. And although Ron and I had not met each other, this is how we met, by doing this play. And it went to Broadway, and it lasted a week, and we got married anyway.
You've been lasting all the time.
Yeah, we're on 7 years.
Did he think that you would make a good pair?
John?
Yes, apart from professionally, that romantically.
I don't know. I really don't know. But we invited him to the wedding.
I'm thinking that, well,
Which was
yes.
very
it's
charitable,
very
wasn't
grateful,
it?
Yes.
Yes.
But I was thinking of the late Billy Rose thought that Moss Hart and Kitty Carlisle both were single people, and thought that there was a union made in heaven, and apparently it worked out very well, and after all those years of being single, their friends got them together.
That's nice. Well, I don't know if that was conscious on John's part. I think he just wanted to get his play done.
Do you have any thoughts about husbands and wives acting in the same vehicle?
No. Do you? No, I do. Yes. Wait. Yes, I do. I have a lot of thoughts about it. It's fun to work together, and if you have a communication and a way of working, and you can give each other privacy and some space, and enjoy each other and respect each other, you can have a wonderful time. It is hard for a lot of married couples to work together.
Yes, you asked me, and my mind's been going around on the media. I thought about Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton.
Well, yes. However, there is the syndrome of the family store, which was a part of our past, is not so much anymore. And sometimes it's good to get away from each other and work separately, and then you have more to say to each other when you come back together.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it all makes sense as long as you're having a good time and you love each other.
You have a precocious son in this series.
Yes.
He's a 12-year-old, or he plays the part of a 12-year-old.
Right.
I'm thinking of W.C. Fields always said, or people say, never get into a scene with an animal or a young child. But he's very intrinsic to the success of this series, too, isn't he?
Yes, yes, he really is. Yes, it's about a relationship between a boy and his mother. And that's very special because that hasn't been on television in a long time.
No. It's usually the dog and...
He's the basis for a lot of stories and problems that a 12-year-old boy would come up with, especially being a fish out of water, being from Jersey and Phoenix, He's going to have a lot of problems that I hope will be identifiable to people who have children.
As an actress, have you always wanted a TV series, or would you find that both successful and stifling, to be tied up for a long time?
Well, I would find, I don't know if I'm going to be tied up for a long time. Who knows, but that's a chance that could turn into a wonderful experience, because I like to go to work every day. And I like the thought of being in a company, and you grow, the character grows and changes. So over 5 years, it's not like being in a play that lasts for a couple of years, where you really do the same thing every night. This changes.
Paul Newman, as successful an actor as he is, I've heard him say many times that when he doesn't have a project, no matter how many successful motion pictures he made, he feels uneasy and slightly unsuccessful. And you're saying you like to go to work every day.
That's right.
Kind of echoes that.
Yes, yes. It's important for people to work. And when you're not working at what you love to do and what you're good at, your feelings of self-esteem are lowered. You need to be active and to get the gratification from your work. And there's all too little work in our business. And that's why I'm excited about doing this show.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Linda Lavin, Alice.